Again, guys, I'm back with some more facts. Today is October 7, 2017, and I said I was going to talk about the Linda Napolitano alien abduction story that took place in New York, Manhattan, I believe. Anyways, when I looked up the story, this is a story that began November 30th, 1989 at 3 in the morning. Something about, like I mentioned to you guys, a woman who claimed that she was abducted by aliens, and they managed to float her out her window, and supposedly witnesses were have seen it. For these past few hours, I was looking into the story, guys, and honestly, it seems like yet another story brought forth by someone who is trying to benefit from the field of the alien and UFO field. The reason I say that is because there's different type of scenarios in the story, and then something about there was a female who was the key witness to the whole thing that wrote a letter to I think a guy there named Bud Hopkins. And the thing about it, it took a while. People did analysis on the handwriting, and it came out that the female who was making the claim of being abducted was also the same person who wrote the letter as the supposed key witness to the event that took place. So for me, you guys already know what that means. It means that here we have yet again another person who wishes to play around with the field of aliens and UFOs and what have you. Now, I'm not saying that, again, I'm not saying that these things are not happening to people, but when you have a lot of people making false claims, that does discredit everyone else, even if their story is real. See what I mean, guys? So that's basically the point that I'm trying to make, that there's many people that make claims and they don't present solid evidence. And then of course people get upset because they feel that I'm asking the wrong questions. But I feel that I need to keep asking those questions because, if people are going to keep saying that they were abducted by aliens, I think that they need to show some form of proof somehow. Do I believe in hypnosis? I don't know. You know what I mean, guys? I've never been hypnotized, so I wouldn't know. Hypnotism could be real, yes. But again, that, to my knowledge, I heard that you're still somewhat conscious when you're under hypnosis. And so, I don't know. Some people manage to pass these lie detector tests. And of course, there's you got to wonder why they're not admitted in courts. If these lie detector tests were such a big deal in life, you know how many people would be freed from prison just because the lie detector test would be used in courts? It would be simple, right? That people can easily beat the system with it. And that's why they don't use it in court. So I would have to say the same with people who are using the lie detector test, or don't take the lie detector test because they know that it may confirm that they are lying about their case, pretty much. I don't know. Well, on this, like I said, guys, on this story, I did look into it a couple hours, and I came up with, obviously, that it seems like yet another person out to benefit from us, by, of course, promoting the next book or the next lecture just to get money. And to give you a little update again about the Betty and Barney story, because I know I did tell you guys an update previously. And I'm giving you another update. There's something you guys are going to find very interesting. There's letters that Betty wrote to people of, I think, people of the military. I'm not 100% sure. I'm going to show you guys right now. And you guys will have it down below on the link, as of course I'm learning how to use the link system in YouTube. As you guys see right here, it says Philip J. Klass. It's basically the doctor, Benjamin Simon, of course, saying several things about Betty and Barney, how he does not believe that their claims, and yada yada yada. And then you have, of course, Betty also, letters of Betty written to Philip J. Klass and others, and you will see a whole list. You'll see these are actual documented, copied, obviously, letters. Betty Hill, Dr. Benjamin Simon, Philip Klass, and again, I'll put the link below. It's called www.debunker.com. As you can see, they'll have all this. And yes, I know people just heard me say debunker, so automatically they're going to assume that I am a diehard skeptic. I am not a diehard skeptic. I must repeat that again, because, many people believe simply because I asked for diehard evidence that we can all conclude with evidence that these people are really having these experiences for real. Just imagine if something like this occurred, right, where there's a spaceship and then you have people just automatically being sucked up into this big ball of light, right? That would be something. I mean, people would be shocked. At the same time, not just shocked, but I believe the first thing people would feel would be fear. I don't know. A lot of these stories, once again, they sound legit. But it's kind of hard, I'm sure, for some of these people to really come out with proof, because so many have, of course, destroyed this field with nonsense. But that's why when I put these videos, I try to be as open-minded as I can. Again, I do believe that we're not alone in the universe, but I'm not just going to believe just any story without no die-hard evidence, so we can be like, oh, this is a solid one right here, I think one of the one that I was talking about before was the Rendlesham Forest. I think that happened in London, something like that. They call it the London Roswell, pretty much. Because that was a big story back then. I think it was about some military guys happened to bump into what appears to be a ship, and they were able to describe it and stuff like that. But I'm not talking about that one today. We're talking about the one I just mentioned. It's all about what you guys choose to believe. I know people will say that, oh, well, I'm the one that's wrong for, speaking my mind on these videos. I'm just basically directing you to facts. I'm not a diehard skeptic. I'm just a normal person just actually asking for proof. And the first thing people just keep saying is, well, God is there. You don't see God, but yet you believe, right? So they use that part, to get away from the true question that I'm asking. Even though that is not the same thing, or if you guys would put it that way, if you want to make it seem that way, but that's not what I'm getting at. I'm just talking about these people that make these claims, and then the first thing that, well, put it this way. If I was being abducted by aliens, the first thing on my head, what I'll be thinking at that particular moment, like I said, would be possibly fear would be the first thing. Because again, you don't know what they're going to do to you. So many things could go through your head not knowing what they're going to do to you. Okay? That would be the first thing. If obviously if they're gonna be friendly, obviously they'll let me know if they're gonna be friendly or not by their actions. So if they're friendly, obviously I will ask questions such as, where you guys from? What are your names? Do you have anything to do with the creator? Stuff like that. But not stuff that doesn't make sense. Again, some people make descriptions. They say that there are people in planet Venus, Mars, wherever, but yet they don't show no evidence. Again, it's not about sketches. Sketches is not going to validate that you saw some extraterrestrial being, whether it be human or not. You have to have a solid evidence, something that no one can dispute. Like, for instance, when Betty Hill mentioned something about she was going to bring back a somewhat book. She asked for something that she can bring back with her so that people can believe her. But of course, she couldn't, because the leader and his people decided that that was not something that they were going to allow. So, you figure if he was the leader, he would allow her to bring the book that she was supposedly bringing down to Earth to prove that their incident was real. I know, guys, I know sometimes people just are thrown off by these stories. But, all in all, I'll say don't give up. Don't just discredit all these stories, because I'm sure that, like I said, I'm sure there's real stories out there that happens. But when you get these so-called ufologists, well, I can't say so-called because they really, gave their lives to it, 30 some years or more into the field. But the thing that makes me wonder is, are they in it just to get money? Are they really in it for disclosure, to ensure that the government disclose this information? Or are they just in it for themselves? There's really no way of telling, right? Because again, there's so many people that promote these false stories, and then of course they sound so convincing that of course that's how their story gets by, when they sound so convincing. And so they start promoting books, promoting their next lecture, because of course they know that you're gonna be there. So they're going to keep running the ball. They're going to keep the ball rolling as much as they can. And they're going to stack up all that money in the bank. And then, obviously, right into the sunset with that money. That's basically what's going to happen. If people are really taking this serious, then I believe that people should continue doing what they're doing in, having our government or the world governments to disclose the, of extraterrestrial. But I think I already mentioned this to you guys, that because I did say that it would have to take the United Nations, because of course there's, basically countries together making that big decision to disclose that is what's happening today. Why they not disclose it yet? I don't know. Are they getting close to it? Probably. That's what I was thinking. I think probably. Then again, when I start thinking about a lot of these stories, people always talking about UFOs. Again, I want to make a distinction between a flying saucer and a spaceship. Flying saucers are made here on Earth, of course, by these governments in the world. And that's my opinion, that they do make them here because, of course, the way that they're maneuvered, it's not the same way as the spaceships. Spaceships will be moving at fast, unrecognized speeds, something that we don't, could possibly imagine. And that's what I would consider a spaceship. Now, a UFO, of course, would be something from us being created. And, of course, they don't want Basically civilians knowing that they have high technology that, perhaps they borrowed or, have gotten via a treaty of some sorts with these beings from outer space. But again, I'm just guessing, so I can't say that that's the case at all. I never worked with the government, so I can't say that, I know that for sure that, the government's been working with extraterrestrials of any kind, human looking or not. We tend to say that they're grays, small grays, tall grays, reptilians, and I think people sometimes they just take things so far. But I do believe that they should at least consider the possibility, all right, that if we indeed are not alone in the universe, I believe that everyone should continue exposing the truth, because we all need it. I think, like I said, I believe that we're all ready for it. It's not like we are not ready for it. We are ready for it. But then what makes me think is it because there are some sort of treaties that they can't, disclose that extraterrestrials are here? Treaties like, maybe they don't want us to know that they're here, or I don't know. I don't really know how to call that, because it's either the governments of the planet that don't want to disclose this, or is themselves, pretty much saying, no, don't disclose our, because of course, a lot of people that are religious will just be confused and not understand what's happening, and, things of that nature. So yeah, guys, if you like this video, give me a like. If you don't, give me a dislike on the button there. Subscribe if you like to my page. And guys, that I'm always going to come clean, fair, and truthful, because that's basically what I do. I try my best to, give my opinion about these stories. I look into them and decide whether, they're just another person just promoting something that's not real. Now, of course, I would say that the Valiant Thor story was the one that took me the longest to conclude, of course, because, well, of course, there was a lot of things surrounding it, and then there was more fabric on top of it, and more stuff was gaining, and then you would see that they will merge the Valiant Thor story of Frank Ernest Strange's with Philip Snyder's Valiant Thor, and they merged the two into one. So, I'm just saying that, it took a while to dismantle those stories. And I know people probably upset because they can still say that it's not Frank, but it is Frank. And, there's nothing else I can say. I'm going by the source that I've gotten, documented stuff that I've gotten to prove once and for all that Valiant Thor was a hoax the whole time. But then, of course, people would call me a government agent of sort. Don't know why. I'm just a normal, U.S. citizen on YouTube, trying to, basically express to people that there is truth out there, but it's all about having people show you proof. It's only fair, right? You're going to come out your pocket for these people that keep promoting their books when, they can just clearly just tell you what they need to tell you at that particular moment. Just like I'm doing right now. You don't see me promoting books. You don't see me promoting lecture. If YouTube wanted me to advertise something, yes, I would advertise something, of course. But other than that, You don't see me talking about anything of my personal life, saying I'm going to write a book, you guys buy it. No, nothing like that, of that sort. All I'm going to keep doing is presenting you guys with so-called alien abductions and alien contact stories. Once again, if there's no proof, guys, I mean, what is it can we do? I mean, if there's no proof, are we to believe something with no proof? Am I wrong for questioning where is the proof? I don't know. I guess people are going to have to make that decision for themselves, because I don't think that I'm wrong for asking that question. Now, if it was me and I really went through, such a real experience like that, like these people claim, again, I would try my best to answer the questions and to prove, obviously, by having the entities give me something, something that people would not identify on Earth. And that's what I will present to the people, to you guys. But of course, I've never been abducted. I've never had any communication with an alien. I mean, I did kind of see like a light, me and my girlfriend once, and my brother-in-law. Yeah, we saw basically a light, but I mean, nothing else to it. It's not like a light bolted came towards us and and took us away somewhere. No, nothing like that. And yeah, the light that we saw, there was no sound. So in case people are wondering, was it a helicopter? Because of course, that a helicopter, you can hear it. And a plane, of course, you can also hear the plane and see the plane's light as it blinks. But this was just a single light, bright light. I would say more like white. And it didn't blink at all. It just moved. That was kind of weird. I know people are going to be like, well, maybe that was the planet Venus or something. Perhaps, right? But there's no telling if that's exactly what that was. I'll never know, because, again, I've never been abducted, so I can't really say anything like that. Who knows? But again, people, if you like this video, hit the like button if you like the video. Hit the dislike button if you don't like this video. Subscribe to my channel, I mean. Or let me know. Let me know your thoughts, guys. Let me know what you guys believe about these stories or other stories. Because I'm sure there's plenty, as you guys already know. There's plenty. I'm trying to go through a whole lot of them because there's a lot of them, And then again, it's like, once again, it's like you don't know which one's the real one and which one is the fake one, unless you really like look into that one, and then you just, pick it apart little by little, and then you decide from there. I mean, it's up to you guys, It's kind of weird how people sometimes, they go and just because you don't understand something on a video, people just start writing violent or profanity on the channel. I think that's not right, that people will go that far to, if there's something that bothers you about this video, just explain it, but explain it in a respectful manner where we can, as adults, understand, why is it that you don't like the video. I mean, it's kind of sad that people have to resort to negativity all the time when it comes to things like this. There's people that are going to believe, and there's people that's going to disbelieve, and there's people that are not going to believe. Those of us that, are questioning these people that make these claims. You see what I mean? So it's like either we are wrong for asking these questions, or we're wrong anyways, just because we're diehard skeptics, when in fact we're not. We're just seekers of truth. That's all we're doing. We're all just trying to, come to the conclusion that we can all agree to disagree. You know, some people will say, "Oh, well, the Betty and Barney story is true." I'll say maybe. You know, some people will be like, "Oh, well, this story is true. Oh, this story is not true." Or, I mean, it's basically like they can go all day and say the same thing over and over again. And that's what I believe that a lot of these ufologists do when they do these lectures. They basically repeat themselves over and over again every time they go to the next lecture, to the next lecture, to the next lecture. You know, so it's like saying from this country they'll go throughout all the states of this country, and then they'll probably go to another country, and then they'll go to another country. It's basically the same thing. You know, it's basically repeating the same thing over and over again, and you know, filling their pockets up. Like I said, and before you know it, their bankroll is so high that they decide to run into the right into the sunset, and there you go, and their life is complete. Now, for the real ones that are really researching this stuff and they really care, I give them respect for that. I give them more respect for those that are really, because of course there are organizations out there that are doing exactly what I'm saying. You know, they're asking for proof, and of course, these people are gonna get uneasy with these organizations because, of course, they're questioning their stories. So anyways, guys, I think I held you guys over, so let me close this video, and hopefully I'll have another story, but I hope the next story that I bring up is a story that doesn't fall apart, like the one that I just talked about, the Linda Capolitano story, from Manhattan. I was gonna really talk about it, guys, but it's like as soon as I kept reading all these hours and looking at it, I just realized that the story sounded good, but then yet fall apart. It fell all apart as soon as I saw that, again, they concluded that the so-called mystery or key witness was one and the same person that was making the abduction claim. So there you have it, guys. On to the next video.